Ancient Lemuria, Atlantis, and the creation of the organic vessel. This channeling takes us to the origin of spirit, the human soul, body, and the inorganic creation. This is part 2 of a 7-part series on our cosmic origins. The words are channeled. Allow the codes to go within and awaken your own cosmic awareness. Thank you for watching. Please take what resonates and leave the rest. During the times of Atlantis, the balance was lost. It shifted to a more male-dominated system. By male, this is referring to the masculine aspect of self. Patriarchy has dominated since this time. To understand this, we must understand what happened in Lemuria. As things became more dense, the separation from the cosmic balance of understanding also shifted. The me, separate self, became more prevalent. The separate self was able to function from a standpoint of individual understanding. Initially, the spirit from the coding was one. It then was able to split into two, the male and female aspects, etherically able to reproduce another as well. This natural evolution of spirit developing matter was part of the cosmic coding on the planet. As spirit became more dense, it also began to see things from a more finite perspective. The spirit moved upon the earth and felt itself in different forms, able to move in and out of different life forms that were created from the earth, water, sun, magnetic pull. These were sea creatures, plants, animals. The spirit from the water, the Lemurians, were able to move in and out of things initially. Then they developed a separate spirit form of self. This spirit form, the Lemurian, lived in harmony with balance, not having a need for an outcome. They were existing in an infinite space of awareness. They lived in harmony with what was being developed through the natural rhythm of the cosmos. Eventually, as they became denser and closer to a 3D form, they began to have the concept of I and wanting certain things or experiences. In wanting experiences to see specific things, they became a creator in an individual sense. In this creation mode, they lived and worked with the elements on the earthly plane and in the surrounding cosmos. This was harmonically done. At this time, there were 2 moons in the sky. They were there as the land rose, part of the organic matter that was the cosmos. They held a balance that held a strong water vibration for the planet. They appeared to dance together in the orbit of the planet. At one point, the Lemurians began to communicate with other beings within the cosmos, and some of those beings were utilizing the harmonic balance of creation to expand their idea of what creation should be. This is different than how the Lemurians were existing up until this time. This idea was enticing to only a few of the Lemurians. Those few branched out to start a new community, which was initially Mu, and then some from Mu branched out to Atlantis. In Mu, there was a shift from the flow of being to having things be a specific way. In this difference, you could say the ego was birthed, as we would describe the ego today. Much has been downloaded and written about Atlantis. I will not go deeply into Atlantis, but rather to times in our history that there are historical records of and artifacts that speak to what I'm channeling. I have seen visions of Atlantis, and working with clients, it comes in a lot in the blueprint of someone. It is a time where the workings of the natural cosmos were taken in ways to create realities and humans who would fit into a narrative some wanted. Even if there is no physical proof of Atlantis, it would be hard to argue that this could not have been done. based on where we are today with cloning, genetic modification, and AI. When Atlantis fell, it fell, some say, because of the goings on of the beings and the fact that the Atlanteans were not connected to the cosmos. Instead, they were trying to be the creator of the cosmos. However, the true downfall was originated by the inorganic creation of Atlantis' impact on the organic creation, a blast that first hit one of the moons of balance and then hit the Earth. The Earth shuddered, water rose, and most of the creatures and plant life, including the Atlantean culture, was wiped out. This was before what we know as the Great Flood that is described in the Bible. For not all were destroyed, and those that were not started again. I'm called to mention this as the moon that remained plays into our current day programming. It was decided at this time that a programming of safety be installed, and this program was installed on the moon. It was not an organic program, but one that the remaining Atlantean priests and outside influences put in. It was to keep the balance of the earth realm as it had been with the two moons. It was also to project a shield around the planet to keep souls and spirits within, so that they could replenish the planet and also come back to the original Lemurian understanding. This was what today we would call the official story. However, there were beings involved in this decision that had their own reasons for such a program to be installed. They were not the majority in terms of players at the time. That, however, changed as evolution on the planet continued. Before going any further, I'm compelled to explain in more detail the organic being, the organic vessel, and the inorganic vessel. First, the organic being. The organic evolution of the planet had to do with the energy of creation of the galaxy. This was with the water coating, the energy light, the sun, the electric charge, which is the magnetic balance between the Earth, planets, stars, and sun. This is in the natural evolution and dissolution one day, the ebb and flow. The balance is organic. Looking back at the organic creation of the coating in the water, the spirit or code was able to go from form to form. This was the original Lemurian way, where the spirit could go through other forms. You could experience yourself as the tree or the fish. This can be done today as well. Gurus have spoken of this, and some of you may be able to currently go outside your body and feel what it is like to be a tree, for example. This is the spirit moving from thing to thing, flowing. Another example is healing. Doing long distance energy healing is an example of moving your energy from place to place or to a specific place. This is slightly different than the spirit moving in and out of matter. However, long distance energy healing could in some ways be related to the organic. The original inorganic reality was an overlay of this organic program. To have beings with souls that are programmed utilizing the organic through the solar system. Spirit would move originally freely throughout, much as the water that came from another solar system into our solar system and settled onto the Earth. The idea of consciousness then deciding to play in a more solid form on a planet would bring in this overlay to see what it was like to be an individual being. In a historical linear view, this is what came into form in Lemuria. This program was set into motion. The spirit or code would be able to go from being to being. The second layer is the organic vessel, creation. Creation of matter, the vessel, that the coding or the spirit could inhabit. This is also where the individual blueprint comes in. You could equate this to the individual soul. This is lined up to the solar system, which is organic. This was the in-between stage of evolution on the planet. This still utilizes the organic cosmic alignment to then have a spirit going into that being or experience. And then finally, the inorganic creation. That of star beings ourselves utilizing the cosmic creation method in some way to create. Or put another way, creation from the external, not the all that is. This utilized cloning, genetic modification, thought forms, programming. This makes it more difficult for the spirit embodying that person to connect to their cosmic alignment. Next week, I'll be diving into ancient Egypt and delve further into our inorganic origins. This also touches on my recent travels to Egypt, which include downloads on the meaning of the Ankh and artifacts around genetic modification. If you haven't already, please check out part 1 on ancient Lemuria and our cosmic origins, the beginning. Until next time, much love, light, and cosmic awareness.